Well, hello everyone, how are you doing? Yeah, this story finally kind of got traction in the national media, but in the worst possible way. I mean, it's just got so politicized. As a lot of you know, I live in North Carolina, and I live in the Charlotte viewing area. So, I mean, we just knew about it. It was reported. It was kind of surprising to me when I saw people online complaining that the national news wasn't reporting it. And they had never heard of this because it is a big story. And I don't really want to add to that part of the conversation about why this wasn't really being reported and what one side is saying, what the other side is saying. You can get that from so many other places. What I want to talk about is kind of the reporting that we did get. And this is from WBTV Channel 3 in Charlotte. When they got the video and then reported on it, they spent like a minute going over why they were doing it. And this is very weird to me because I grew up during a time when this was typical. I mean, you wouldn't have video all the time back then, but then you would occasionally. And then as I became an adult, and then particularly as you got in the 90s, you started having security cameras everywhere and you had more footage of this kind of thing. The news media would show it and they give you a little disclaimer. This could be graphic. This could be disturbing. We've cut out the bad parts because it is broadcast media. It's family viewing. Okay, that makes sense. But that would be a quick disclaimer. And then that's it. Listen to what Jamie Boll on WBTV said.
Since that time, there have been several questions about what happened, why it happened, and could it have been prevented. Today, Katz released surveillance video of the events leading up to and after her murder. And we want to warn you, some of these images could be considered disturbing to our viewers. We're not sharing images of the attack, but rather what led up to it. WBTV anchor Jamie Boll joins me live in studio with more on that video. Jamie?
And in the past, that's basically what they would do. They would give you that disclaimer, that warning, however you want to think of it. They'd warn you that you might see something disturbing. They'd tell you that they edited out the really bad parts. And then they'd go with it. But now listen to what happens.
Yeah, Siobhan, first, before we show you anything, we think it's important for everyone at home to understand the process we go through in cases like this. Awful things happen. Sometimes our photojournalists are there for the incidents. Other times we get video from police body cameras, or in this case, Charlotte Area Transit. We request video from agencies all the time. We do it to confirm what we have been told is backed up by the available video. It's about transparency. It's about confirmation.
Why is that something unusual? Why is that something that you need to spend time out of this segment explaining?
Now, when we get video like we did today, it doesn't just mean we put it on the air. In fact, often we don't show it, or it's heavily edited, especially when it's violent and graphic. We ask questions of ourselves. Does this video show us something important? Does it give us new or better insight into what happened? Is there news value in showing it? And then we factor in decency and privacy. Tonight, we've decided to air a portion of the video provided by Katz. We're doing that because it verifies what we've been told about this incident, and that is newsworthy given the public attention and
because that's what you do as journalists.
We will not be showing the actual stabbing itself.
All right, and then they go into the video. Yeah, he basically just spent over a minute, like a minute 15, I think, or something, apologizing for doing basic journalism. Why is that something you need to explain? Why is that something you need to apologize for? Isn't that something everyone should just take for granted? And I don't want to say I'm not blaming Jamie Boll here. I get why he did it. I understand why that's there. But how has it happened that we've gotten to this point? How has it happened that we're in a situation where journalists have to explain that this shouldn't be like a rare thing? This should be how journalism typically happens. And when there is something disturbing, like I said, you give the disclaimer and you go. They took like a third of this segment. He spoke for like a minute 15. This total segment is, 3 minutes, 47 seconds. So about a third of the segment. When they could have been giving you additional information to talk about. Now, this wasn't the only segment where they were reporting this. They've been reporting this for a while before they got the video, but still, you've got such limited time. The fact that you felt you had to stand in front of your audience and say, yeah, we're doing this thing called journalism. Yeah, and you do it in a very apologetic fashion, like, I'm sorry, but we just kind of like to do this once. You know, we are journalists. Just once in a while, we'd like to do actual journalism and, you know, actually do our jobs as the news media. Sorry about that, but we're going to do this just this once. How have we gotten to this point? Well, that's basically what I wanted to share with you. Just a little bit of my frustration. The news hasn't been the news in a long time. I mean, we've had problems with the news all along. See what H.L. Mencken had to say about it 100 years ago. See what Thomas Jefferson had to say about it 100 years before that. But I don't think it has ever been this bad, where you have a major news item that is probably going to be one of the top stories of the year in Charlotte. And you're basically apologizing to your audience and explaining why you have to do this journalism thing. The state of journalism today is just so pathetic. And I don't really know what people like you and me can do about it, except try and demand better and, of course, just be aware of it. Hopefully, saner heads will prevail at some point in the future, and journalists will actually start doing journalism again. We can hope, at least. Thank you so very much for watching. Comments for the Comment God, shares for the Share Throne. Please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. And of course, donate Dopagosity.tv if you want to keep me doing what I do, because that's what I do. I wouldn't say that what I do is journalism per se, because, well, I guess like in some cases it is. Like with the AI cases where I'm going back to the primary source and reporting on it directly and giving you the story that no one else is giving you, the actual truth. Yeah, imagine that. Someone's out doing that. So yeah, donate Dopagosity.tv, both one-time donations and regular support. It all keeps me doing that. Thank you so very much for watching. Until next time, stay strong and be free.